Ji, so let's begin the discussion. What was the last topic we discussed previously?
Semantics rule, sir.
Semantic rules. Okay, we talked about
Yes, sir.
semantic rules, right? Did we
Yes,
talk
sir.
about all of them?
Sir, we have to
Yes, sir.
discuss
Up to the
beneficiary.
instruments.
The last part was, sir, goal, location,
Sir,
source, goal.
Okay.
sir, sir, you told us that we have to discuss beneficiary, time, and the other one is reference.
Recipient as well, sir.
Fine. Okay, here they are. We talked about location, source, and goal. Fine. Uh, Recipient, beneficiary, time, and purpose. Let's suppose if I say I sent Aslam a letter, or I sent the letter to Aslam. The letter to Aslam. Who is the receiver of this letter, or who is first of all the actor in this sentence? Who is the actor? I sent.
Right.
I.
I is the actor, right? Yes, Mahin at the present. Okay, I is the actor, right? The letter is actually the theme or the patient, right? To Aslam. So Aslam is here the recipient, the receiver, actually the receiver. So the entity who receives the theme is called the recipient. Recipient is actually
Okay.
from receiver, right? So this is called recipient. Then we have got beneficiary, but recipient is simply the entity which receives the theme or which receives the patient, right? Then we have got beneficiary. So beneficiary is the entity which receives benefit of an action, which receives the benefit of an action, right? But if I say, for example, the CR gifted me a diary. Now, if you look at this CR, I'm not expecting anything from anyone. This is just an example. Personally, I don't receive gifts in my life, remember. The CR gifted. The CR is the actor, right? Now, where is the theme here? Where is the theme? Come on,
Gift.
Gift, sir.
Me.
come
Yeah,
on.
gift. No, sir. It was a diary, sir.
Diary. The seer kicked the ball. The seer gifted a diary. Right? Now, to whom has this diary been gifted?
CR.
To whom?
Me.
It was
To
me, sir.
me.
Yes.
To
To
me.
me.
To me. Right? So, in this example, if you see, me is the recipient of the diary, but at the same time, me is the beneficiary, because me has received the benefit of this action, the benefit, right? So
Right, sir.
I bought him a new car. I bought him some sweet dishes. I bought him a diary. I bought him a new phone. And this, in all these examples, him is the beneficiary, because him is the entity which receives the benefit of an action. You got it now? The difference between beneficiary and recipient. Recipient
Yes,
is
sir.
just the receiver, while beneficiary is the entity who receives the benefit of an action. Time, simply I did it yesterday, the time at which an action is performed. Okay. And purpose, the purpose is the purpose for which something is done, right? Like if I say I I I went to the park for enjoyment. Now, in this example, enjoyment is the purpose. I went there for enjoyment, right? I sent the names of the students to the teacher for attendance, right? So I is the I is the actor. sent the names of the students. So the names of the students is the theme here, the names of the students, right? I sent the names of the students. So this entire phrase is the the theme or the patient, right? The names of the students. Now to the teacher. So the teacher is the recipient, the teacher, to the teacher. Okay, the teacher is the recipient. Now for what? For attendance. So attendance is the purpose. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. इसके बेस पे आपका एक assignment होगा and you have to deal with the assignment this way. Like there will be an example. For example, there will be sentences. For example, Mary saw a fly on the wall. तो Mary के नीचे क्या लिखा है? Experiencer. Saw तो already verb है, action है, right? Experiencer, Mary is experiencer. A fly is theme. You see, on the wall is location, right? She is agent. She borrowed a magazine. So magazine is theme. From George, George is source. जिसकी तरफ से आया है ये वो जो है magazine, right? She squashed the bug with the magazine. So she is the agent. The bug is the theme. With the magazine is instrument, right? She handed the magazine to George. So she is the agent, right? The magazine is theme. Back to George. So back to George. George is the goal, right? In the same way, Geething said George. So here you see we have got only the agent, right? George. आपको सेंटेंसेस दिए जाएंगे और आपने वो सेंटेंसेस इस तरह से एनालाइज करना है कि हर एक वर्ड के नीचे एक्सक्लूडिंग द वर्ब्स, बाकी वर्ड्स के नीचे आपने लिखना है कि ये एक्सपीरियंसर है, एजेंट है, थीम है, लोकेशन है, पर्पस है, रेसिपिएंट है, बेनिफिशियरी है या क्या है, राइट? This is how you will do your assignment. Okay, coming to today's lecture, that is
Excuse me, sir.
semantic relations. Yes.
Sir, please, how can we determine the purpose in a sentence?
How can you determine the purpose of a sentence? Okay, purpose is determined usually when you see the word for for attendance, for enjoyment, for submitting my fee, for delivering the lecture, for attending the lecture. I need a hand spray for attending the lecture, for delivering the lecture. I want to go to the bank for submitting my fee, right? So whenever you see this for, most of the times, not always, but most of the times it shows a purpose. Sometimes it's to as well, too. I went to the bank to submit my fee. I went to the bank to meet my friend, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
Coming
sir.
to
Thank you.
welcome. Coming to today's lecture, today's topic, that is lexical relations, right? Lexical relations. Look at the word small, tiny, and big, large, huge, right? And look at the word, if I write big, and for example, if I write opposite. Okay, look at the word big and opposite. Do you see any relationship between these two words, big and
No,
opposite?
sir.
No
No, sir.
relation at all?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, good. Look at the word big, large, and huge. Do you see any relationship between these three words?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Synonym.
Okay,
Meaning,
Yes.
sir.
okay,
Synonym.
okay. They are similar in terms of meaning. They're similar in terms of meaning, right? Look at the word small, tiny. Do they have any relationship between them?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
What's the relationship?
Synonym. Synonym.
They are
Synonym.
similar in terms of meaning.
Referring to small, yes, sir.
They are similar in terms of meaning, right? Okay. Now, what is meant by lexical relation? Lexical relations are also known as semantic relations. Semantic relations, right? Lexical items, I mean words. Words have got certain relationships with one another. Words have got relationships with one another, and those relationships are called semantic relations, right? Why semantic relations? Because those relations are in terms of meaning. Words have got some relationship with one another in terms of meaning. Those relationships are called semantic relations. You got it? In terms of meaning, because these relationships are not in terms of spelling, these relationships are not in terms of grammar, right? These relationships are not in terms of pronunciation, phonetics or phonology. These relationships are not in terms of morphological features, morphology. Rather, they are in terms of meaning, in terms of meaning, right? That is why they are called semantic relation. Why? Because semantics is the study of meaning, right? So words have got certain relationships with one another, and those relationships are in terms of meaning. So that is why those relationships are called semantic relations or lexical relations. You got it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
There,
sir.
there is no specific definition of semantic relations, remember. You need not to go for any specific definition for this,
Sir,
right?
so they are simply synonyms, sir. Semantic relation are simply synonyms, sir.
Semantic not necessarily synonyms. They can be
Synonym, antonym,
antonyms. They can be antonyms also,
antonym.
small and large. They can be synonyms, they can be antonyms, they can be prototypes, they can be hyponyms, right? Or hyponymy, prototype, homophones and homonyms, right? They can be polysemy, there can be metonymy, there can be collocation, there can be synecdoche, and many other semantic relations, right? Look at your
Okay,
own
sir.
relations. You have got uh, you know, let me switch to the Urdu language. You have got chacha zad bhai, chacha zad behen, mamu zad behen, mamu zad bhai, right? Khala zad, pupi zad. You have got brothers, sisters, you have got parents, you have got uncles and aunties, you have got nephews, right? You have got children. So multiple relations are there. Same as the case with worlds. Worlds also have got relationships with one another, right? Let's talk about the very first semantic relation, that is called synonymy, right? Two or more words with very closely related meanings are called synonyms, right? Or you may simply say, sometimes there are students who do not feel okay with these bookish definitions. So in simple words, in your own words, you may write that when there are two words which are similar in meaning or which are identical in meaning, right? They are called synonyms, and the relationship between them is called synonymy, right? When there are two words which have got similar meaning, right, they are called synonyms. When there are two words which have got similar meaning, when there are two words which have got identical meaning, they are called synonyms, and the relationship between them is called synonymy, right? You may say when there are two words which have got closely related meanings, right? Or you may say when there are words which are very closely related in terms of meaning, they are called synonyms, and the relationship between them is called synonymy, right? examples, just as I provided the examples above, small, tiny, if you look at them, they have got a relationship of, or they have got similar meanings. They are similar to each other in terms of meaning, right? They are identical to each other in terms of meaning. They have got closely related meaning. In the same way, big, large, huge, gigantic, monstrous, all these words have got, related meaning or similar meaning, right? So they are synonyms. uh, Remember, the relationship between them is called synonymy. Let me give you an example from the Urdu language, not example, general term. We say, okay, Hamid Rahman, do you have got brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have got brother. So you are Hamid. Sorry. Y- What is the name of your brother?
Rehanullah Muhammad Nisar.
Rehan. And Ishaq.
Muhammad Nisar.
Okay, let's suppose Ishaq, right? Ishaq. Now
Yes.
look at these three people, these three humans, they have got same parents. They have got same parents, they have got a blood relationship with one another. They are, in Urdu we say, okay, but they are brothers to one another, and their relationship is called brotherhood. They are brothers, they are brothers, and their relationship is called ब्रदरहुड। ये आपस में भाई है, और इनका जो रिलेशन है उस रिलेशनशिप को भाईचारा कहते हैं, right? In the same way, there are worlds like big, large, and huge. They are brothers to one another, you may say. So they are synonyms to one another. They are synonyms, right? And the relationship between them is called synonymy. भाईचारा या brotherhood के बजाय इनका जो relationship है, that is called synonymy. You got it now? Just as brothers have got the relationship of brotherhood, in the same way synonyms have got the
Yes, sir.
relationship of synonymy. You got it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Examples given in your book are almost, nearly, big and large, broad and wide, buy and purchase, cab and taxi, car and automobile, couch and sofa, freedom and liberty. Freedom and liberty, right? So these are synonyms to each other. These words are synonyms to each other. You got it? Same is the case with answer, answer and reply, or reply and response. Answer, right? Answer, reply, and response. They are synonyms. Same is the case with complete and finished. Complete, complete, and finish. Are you getting these points?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ji?
in synonymy, we don't look for the subtle differences, sir, I think.
Yeah, synonym is not about differences, it's about similarities only. Similarities.
Okay, sir. Oh, yeah, yes, sir. I mean, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
it's about similarities only.
thank you, sir.
Right? Okay. But remember, there are still little bit differences between these words. ऐसा नहीं है कि big का जो मतलब है वो exactly large का भी है, या wide का जो मतलब है वो exactly like, लाजमी नहीं कि आप हर जगह wide के बजाय broad यूज कर सकते हैं या broad के बजाय wide यूज कर सकते हैं, right? We can say it's, this area is very broad, this area is very wide, right? But sometimes there are situations where you cannot use wide, where you have to use broad. Sometimes you have to use wide instead of broad, right? Some situations, some cases are there, right? Same is the case with complete and finish, right? If you say I completed my work, it's fine, and you may say I finished my work, still that is fine. But finish तो हम उसके लिए भी यूज कर देना, he finished his enemies, तो आप उधर ये कह सकते हैं कि he completed his enemies, No, he finished his
sir.
enemies.
No, sir.
Right? Okay.
Ji, sir.
I'm actually thinking of a joke, but I'm forgetting it completely. Finish and complete. There is like once a
Sir,
person was G.
the same example, like we can't say Mr. Suleiman say broad-minded, so we can't say wide-minded.
Wide-minded. Yes, that is a very good example. Okay, a very good example. Yes. See, there is a difference between this finish and complete. I'm searching for that joke. Actually, it's a very interesting joke. Let's see if I could find it somewhere. Uh, you need to have the knowledge of that joke because it will make you better understand this point that synonyms are not always replaceable, right? You may use one instead of another somewhere, but there are situations where it's not possible. If you marry the right woman, you're complete, but when you marry the wrong woman, this was man's astute. Okay, chale fine, मुझे नहीं मिल रहा. Okay, listen to this, the difference between complete and finish. When you marry the right woman, you are complete. When you marry the right woman, you are complete, right? But when you marry the wrong woman, you are finished. When you marry the wrong woman,
Yes,
you are
sir.
finished. And
Yes, sir.
when the right one catches you with the wrong one, you are completely finished, right?